So there are old properties, new properties, and then a few exceptions, which are generally older properties. Hello and welcome to this new video I'm shooting for you. A lot of people ask me, land right kitna milega? How much is the land right we get when we buy a builder floor? And it actually varies from property to property. So I'm just going to cover all of those things here, which are going to describe that. Let me just put it there. Alrighty. So there are old properties, new properties, and then a few exceptions, which are generally older properties. You will see. So the categories, if we really break them down, is new buildings which have a basement and then a stilt and 4 floors, ground, first, second, third. And then there are new buildings with only stilt and 4 floors where there is no basement. I'll cover why there is no basement in some buildings. And then there are older buildings which have a basement and then ground, first and second, because the third floor was allowed later on in around, I think, 2009 or something. And then it also came with a stilt later on. So most of those buildings which have 4 floors have a stilt. And then old buildings which only have 3 floors, which do not have a basement basically. And then there are a few exceptional cases. We'll cover them also. So let's start with the first one, which is new buildings with a basement. Now, most of the buildings and most of the people who are asking this question, I think 70% of people will have their questions answered by in this particular thing. So in the new buildings which have a basement gets 10% share of the land, yeah, and all the other 4 get equal proportionate share. So we are left with 90% basically. So just divided by 4 is 22.5% each. Simple mathematics, nothing very special about it. Some builders change it also. Like I've seen, they give 20% each to first floor and second floor, and they give the third floor more. And the basement ground, of course, gets, so instead of 32.5, 10 plus 22.5, instead of 32.5, they get 35% in some cases. This is rare, and I've only seen like 2 builders who are doing it. I don't think it's needed, but they just do it, and it's not really a problem. But 99% of the new buildings, you're going to get 10% for the basement and 22.5% land right for each floor. Alright, so this covers the new buildings with a basement. Now there are a few buildings which do not have a basement. I recently sold a property which did not have a basement. They just built 4 floors. So there you get 25% land share, 100 divided by 4. So you get 25% land share for each of the floors. Now some buildings are made without the basements. The reason can be sometimes the owner says, I do not want to have a basement in my building because otherwise an office would open, and there will be nuisance, and maybe just want to keep the number of occupants low or whatever. Or sometimes the builder doesn't make a basement because he feels that in that particular area, building a basement really is not worth it because it doesn't sell very well. And so if you are going to make, say, only 50-60 lakh rupees out of a basement, and the construction cost also increases when you make a basement, the time it takes to build a basement also increases. So sometimes the builder will also leave it out. But in these buildings, you get 2.5% extra each floor. All right. And then there are old buildings. Now these are interesting because older buildings which have only 3 floors. So some of these will have 10% share for the basement and 30% each for the other floors. Their sale deed would clarify this. It would say 10% share for the basement and 30% per floor. What is important to note here is it won't say just proportionate land share. If it says just that, like if it says proportionate land share in all the sale deeds, then automatically the basement also becomes 25%. It's a little odd, but yes, it is how it is. So then all the 4 floors get 25% land share. Their circle rate also increases. The basement circle rate increases, and other floors get 25% instead of the usual 30% in the older floors. Yeah, which is a little odd, but what to do? These are some of those documents where people just loosely say equal proportionate land share. Now there are older buildings which do not have a basement. They're all now if the sale deed says equal and proportionate land share, or just proportionate land share, they all have one third each. You know, and uh, now sometimes you would see in the older building the ground floor is given a little extra, like 40%, and first and second are given 30 extra. So what is important to note is, what does it say in the sale deed? It's not like the owner might say, no, my building has more land share. It has my floor has a larger share. It is not true. You look at the papers. The papers say proportionate land share for all the floors. Then they all become equal. Even in the previous one, if it says that, then the basement also has 25. No questions asked. All right. And then there are some exceptional cases. Now these exceptional cases will be like, the sale deed would say ground floor had 50% land share, or even 60% at times, and other floors have the rest divided equally, or they have 25% each, or they have 30% and 20%. It can vary. Yeah. So these exceptional cases are like are actually only in the very old buildings. In the newer buildings, you would either have proportionate land share, or the land share is clearly cut out, written there like it is 10% and 30%, 30%, 30%. All right. And in some cases, it can be very, very random. Like a ground floor would have 65% share, or 70% share, or 60% share. Or a first floor could have 50% share, and the ground floor would have 30% share, and the second floor has 20% share. This can be very random at times. But all it depends on is what is written in the papers. Don't go by what somebody else says. Just look at the papers. Now, this is $1 million question. Do you get paid extra for extraordinary land share? Now, for example, you have 50% land share in your first floor. Yeah. And now say the plot value is 30 crores. So would someone pay you for that first floor 15 crore rupees? Not a question. Not at all. In most of the older floors, you actually get less than even the land share in very old floors. But if you're going to be rebuilding the building, and you are 4 people in the building, or 2 or 3 people, and you're going to be negotiating with each other, it is a very good negotiation point. You can say, boss, I've got 50% land right, or 40% or 60% or whatever, so I should get paid that much. You will only be paid extra for this land share when if there are 2 owners or 3 owners, and you 3 are selling the whole property together. Then you definitely have a big say that my floor has 50% land share, so I deserve 50% of the money. Even then, it is open to discussion and negotiation. I mean, if there are 3 floors and your floor has 50% land share, I'm sorry to say, I don't think anybody is going to give you half the money if you sell the whole property. But it'll definitely be a huge point in negotiation. And as I said, a ground floor with 50% land share does not usually get 50% of plot value when selling just the ground floor. This is how it is. Thank you so much for listening to me, and let me know what you think. You can put your comments, and do subscribe, do like the video, do subscribe, do share it with your friends, enemies, and family. All right.